Hi, I'm going to tell you about the Broca's and Wernicke's aphasia relation with brain and also speech function. Okay, before we start, let's get to know our brain first. Okay, in our brain, there are a largest part called cerebrum, and the outer layers that lies on top of our cerebrum called cerebral cortex. For your information, since the early 20th century, researchers use something called a Broadman area to classify or to identify the structure of the brain. Okay, so what is a Broadman area? A Broadman area is a region of the cerebral cortex in the human brain. So they are numbered and labeled based on their distinct characteristic, which is the arrangement or the organizations of the neuron. So researchers or people since the early 20th century use a Broadman area to divide and classify different region of brain based on their structure and also functions. Okay, now that you already know about the Broadman's area, let's find the Broca's area together. So Broca's area, which named after the French physician Paul Broca, is located or can be found in the front lobe of the dominant cerebral hemisphere. Okay, if you look at the Broadman's area, it's located at the area of 44 and 45. So most people actually call Broca aphasia as expressive aphasia. Okay, so why is that? It is because people or individual that suffer from Broca's aphasia is actually having a hard time or struggle in expressing themselves. It means that their language comprehension is not affected. They actually can understand what other people are saying or the context of the speech. It is just they cannot reply or they cannot choose the right word to reply to the questions. And because of the damage of the Broca's area that we know that it involved in the speech production, people who suffers from Broca's aphasia have severe reduced speech. It means that they speak very slowly compared to normal people, and they also have limited vocabulary, and they also have a clumsy formation of sounds. Okay, so you know the feeling of the word is just at the tip of your tongue but you cannot spit it out. So imagine that's how individuals with Broca's aphasia live every day for the rest of their life unless they are cured. Okay, next let's take a look at the Wernicke's area. So Wernicke's area was named after a German physician called Karl Wernicke. We can find the Wernicke's area at the dominant hemisphere, or when we look at the Broadman's area, it's located at the area of 22. Okay, so this Wernicke's area actually involved in the language comprehensions. Hence, Wernicke's aphasia, often known as receptive aphasia. Why receptive aphasia? It is because people who suffer from this condition actually having a hard time, having a difficult time in understanding context of the speech. Okay, so people with Wernicke's aphasia actually can speak the language fluently, fastly, just like any other normal person. It's just they cannot understand what other people are saying, or they cannot receive the information properly. It means that when you ask them question, they cannot understand your question, but they can reply fluently. For example, if you ask them, "Have you eaten?" they would reply, "Yes, the weather is nice today." It means that they can reply fastly and fluently in the language. However, their reply often different from what you ask them. However, the word choice that people who suffer from Wernicke's aphasia use doesn't always make sense, and sometimes they also use a nonsense word that don't exist, and it is actually frustrated them because they couldn't understand why people couldn't understand them, because for them they speak perfectly. At the end, it leads to them not to be able to grasp the actual meaning of the spoken words, and also it disrupts their speech production.